Hello everyone, welcome again to one of our GG Helwan and Kotlin Cairo user group sessions. Today we are going to start with Abdul Basit, and first let us know about some brief history about and bio of Abdul Basit. So you please can start introducing yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. So, my name is Abdul Basit, and I'm a GDE for Android, a Google developer expert. And currently, I'm working with Sadape, and there I'm contributing as a full stack developer. And before that, I used to work with Civil, and I have like main expertise in Android, and also I am contributing a lot on the KMP front. So basically, personally, I like KMP very much, and developing different application with that. So that is some info about me, and I think let's start with the session. So today we will be talking about Kotlin Multiplatform and Compose Multiplatform. So there are like a lot of news recently because the Kotlin conference just happened yesterday and the day before, and there's like a lot of interesting stuff that is going on, and a lot of people are like curious about how we can start with the Kotlin multi-platform and what is Compose multi-platform. So in this session, we will be talking about like how you can get started at beginner level and what are the different stuff that you can do. So, but before that, let me give you some intro about multi-platform. So, if we look, uh, what does multi-platform mean? So, multi-platform means that you write once and runs everywhere. So suppose you are developing an mobile application. So normally you have to write code for iOS application, and then you have to write code for the Android, and for Android you have to write that in Kotlin, and for iOS, so that will be Swift or Swift UI. So uh, but what multi-platform does that you write code like just once, and that specific codes run on every platform. So we already have like some existing technologies like Flutter. So Flutter is from Google, and with the Flutter you develop your application, and with that single code you can run that on multiple devices, multiple platforms like Android, iOS, and you can also develop applications for desktop and web. So Flutter already like give the support for us to that. And then we have React Native. React Native is from Facebook, and it uses JavaScript, and it also does the same, and you can develop multi-platform applications. So these are like different multi-platform things that we already have. But the issue with these multi-platform is that they are not native. So the native thing is debatable. Like some people say that if it is in the native language, like develop an application for Android in Kotlin, that is native. And same for like iOS in Swift or Objective C, so that is native. And some people say that if the UI toolkit is like because there's a different navigation in Android and iOS, so they say that if the UI is same, so that means the it is native. But for now, we will call native if they share the same memory space. So so if you have a chunk of code, and if they live in same memory space, so that means that they are native. So in case of the Flutter and React Native, so they are not native because they don't share the same memory space. They are in kind of, there is a bridge in between them, between the core, the underlying framework, and the libraries on top of that. And this is how like there is a bridging between them. So these are like different multi-platform uh, technologies that we currently have. We also have Xamarin, and there were some others before that. But Kotlin multi-platform, that is different. So if we look into Kotlin multi-platform, so it compiles to the native code on each platform. So suppose if you are writing iOS code uh, for Kotlin multi-platform, so in that case, the Kotlin code converts into Objective C, and that Objective C code then is being called. So in case of the Kotlin multi-platform, so the memory space and the memory address, they are like sharing the same memory address. And the thing about Kotlin multi-platform is that like you can share as much or as less as you want. So in case of Flutter or React Native, so like you will be like normally you are totally in or totally out. So there are like you can develop some application, but that is very difficult. But with the Kotlin multi-platform, so it is very easy. So you can like just write some chunk of code. Like suppose if you have events, so like you can just write the event code in Kotlin multi-platform and share that with Android and iOS, or like you can write your whole logic or even your whole UI in Kotlin multi-platform. So it's up to you, like if you want to share as much or as less as you want, and it is very easy to plug in and plug out, and you can call native code and interact with the native components. So that was some info about Kotlin multi-platform. So now let's talk about how you can set up your environment. So if you want to start with the Kotlin multi-platform, so the first thing that you need to set up is that we have a command line CLI tool which is called KDoctor. So when you are starting with the KMP, so that is the tool that you will need, and it will check your system if it is ready for the Kotlin multi-platform development or not. So it checks different things like Java version, Android Studio, Xcode, and CocoaPods. So for the if you are doing iOS development, so in that case you need Xcode and CocoaPods. CocoaPod is for dependency, like we have Gradle, so that's like an alternative. You can call that CocoaPods. So the CocoaPods is for sharing the dependencies. So but if you're not doing any development for the iOS, so in that case you don't need the Xcode and CocoaPod. So the key doctor will tell you if your environment is ready or not. The next thing you need to set up is the Kotlin multi-platform mobile plugin. So that is a plugin that will help you to deploy and develop your iOS application from Android Studio. So whenever like you want to run, so it will add some more configuration and you can run your iOS application from the Android Studio, and it will auto create simulators for you. So once you install the Kotlin multi-platform plugin, so in the new project section, so there you will see two options: Kotlin multi-platform app and Kotlin multi-platform library. So if you want to go for library, so you can set that. Otherwise, Kotlin multi-platform application. So these are the templates that will be added when you install the KMM plugin. Also, if you don't want to go for the Android Studio templates, so JetBrains also provides some templates. So if you go to the kmp.jetbrains.com, so there is a template. So in that visit, there you can create a new project. So you have the option for Android, iOS, desktop, web, and server. So it depends on you which platform you are targeting. So if you're targeting all, you can do that, and there you can start with that. And they also have a template gallery. So now, if you want to start with the Kotlin multi-platform, so there are different options. So you want to share the UI and the logic, you just want to share the logic, or you want to develop in a library. And there are also, I just recently checked that they added two new options to the gallery. So it depends like from which option you want to start. And if you want to, you can either download that code, or if you click on the source, so that is on the hosted on the GitHub, and you can utilize that template. So it will give you some pre-setup stuff. So for starters, I would suggest that to go for a template instead of like doing all of these stuff by yourself, because you have to set a lot of dependencies and then create a new project and then create an iOS project, then create the desktop project. So there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done. So instead of that, we can go with the template. And we also have another template from the Terra. Okay, so it gives you more flexibility, and it also comes with some predefined libraries like Kotlin coroutine, serialization, datetime, SQLite if you need to save some data in the DB. We also have multi-platform settings, so you can also go with that. And then we have Twine for dependency injection that you can use. So these are different configuration that the KMP that the the template provides, and you can select whatever suits you best. So once like you are done with the template, the next thing you can do, like let's have an uh, look at the project that I created from the template. So first of all, let's have a look at the structure. So we have Android app, you can see there, and then we have iOS application, and then we have shared. In the shared, we have a greetings and platform class. So this is how like the project is structured. So we have shared code that is in another module, and then we have the individual platform, like we have Android and iOS, and then these the shared module is being included in the Android and iOS app. And that is one structure, and the other structure is like you have inside the app you have Android, iOS, and including shared there. So like the structure can vary, but this is how like it is structured. So we normally have Android, iOS, and a shared module. So if we look here, so we have a class called greetings, and then we have a function which like just return a string. So it says return and hello a platform. And if we look into the platform, so the platform is an interface, but if you see there is an expect function, and which is like a get platform, and it returns a platform. So the platform is an interface, and on each platform we will be implementing that, and then we have an expect function. So expect is like a kind of interface mechanism in Kotlin Multiplatform. So you declare something with the expect, and then on each platform you have to implement that if you need something which is platform specific. So
Hello, I am afraid there might be some internet problem with Abdul Basit, and he will continue his beautiful talk with us later. And yes, yes, no, no, an issue stream. No, I believe yes, it is recorded, Tariq. Any issues with stream? I believe it might be internet connection from Abdul Basit side. Okay, when he will return back, I will ask him to zoom in and make it more clearer. Okay, I'm very sorry for that. I thought that it is good, at least for me. I will make sure that when Abdel Basit is going back, that his connection and his slide is bigger, and it is even easier to read. Yeah, this is a tricky question, Ali. If we can export only some functions to JavaScript Swift without HTML pages. I believe so, but why should we do so? The idea is to have a shared code that can run on all of these platforms. And of course, we can be selective of what we can take and what we need to leave, and what we need to run in which platform. For example, for Watch OS, which is the Android watch, it does have a very small screen, so not all the data can fit on the same screen. and that's how we can just overlook some of the data that was being provided. And of course, HTML pages does have bigger space because it does have wider screen, and it can have more data, more than the normal mobile, either Android or iOS screen. So instead of having two panels, we will are going to only have one panel, and you can understand exactly an example of an email application. That, for example, if you open Hotmail or Gmail on our mobile or on a desktop, you can see how different they do behave. That we do have two panels, one for list and other for details, and the same screen for the HTML pages, while on the Android each are on a different screen. So we can export all our functionalities, but we can select of what functionalities we can consume and on which screen. Utils function without any, yeah, of course. Uh, as I mentioned, you can just consume whatever functions that you would require, and you can decide on which screen you need to consume these functions. They are all there in a single shared data layer and a single shared network layer, and it is your decision what to do with them. You can see them on Android Studio, but to write or edit them, I believe it's still not ready yet, because IntelliSense will not be working and it will not be current. And of course, even though you need an Xcode in your machine to make sure that you can compile it, so you need to work it on a Mac. But there is another application been added to the applications space by JetBrains last year. Just give me a second and I can share with you its name. Fleet. Actually, by Fleet, you can write using both Kotlin and SwiftUI, and you can compose and edit SwiftUI and with IntelliSense. Yes, Kamar, thank you for your help. Yes, it's Fleet. I believe it's an intro, Ahmed Ali. It's an intro about using KMP and KMP and Compose Multiplatform. It is easy to migrate from native Android using Compose to Kotlin Multiplatform. Actually, this is a tricky question because it been asked too many times of the community, and no one did answer this question because it might not be as extreme as it might looks like, especially if you are using dependency injection like Health. That will require a lot of refactor, but if you are using Coin, it might be much easier. If you are using Room, it is going to be difficult because you need to go to SQLite for database management. But I believe now we do have Room in beta, which might be a good solution and a good fast refactor for your code. If you are using retrofit, you need to convert it to Keytool, and I believe this is also going to be an easy streamline refactor. The only problem, as I mentioned, is with Health, because Health, you if you have experience with Health, you will notice that every class has been touched with Health annotation. So now you need to convert this Health annotation in every class to Coin annotation. cross development with Flutter and the KMP, what pros and cons and two approaches. I believe this is going to be another session, which is going to be hosted by me. I believe it's going to be after an hour from now. So let's keep this question under hand to this this meeting. I do have the slides, by the way, from Abdul Basit. I can start sharing it with you and try to figure out what he was trying to convey. So for the slides, um, yes, here they are. I'm going to start sharing my screen, and I'm very sorry. I believe it was out of Abdul Basit hand. Okay, share screen. Share. Touch screen. Now I hope you are not okay. Sorry for that. So I believe this was slides that been created by Abdul Basit, and he was sharing it with you. He discussed with you, Doctor, to make sure that you do have all the things needed to start your application, and KMM or KMP plugin, Kotlin Multiplatform Mobile. Actually, this has been created, as I recall, by JetBrains, and no, by other company, TouchLab. Yes, by TouchLab, they did a very good job working on it. With the support, of course, by of JetBrains, and it was been supported by JetBrains. You can also find the same library if you are using JetBrains native IDE. Then you are going to select your application, going through the template. There is also a website that you can do the same. You can select the template, and then you can download from JetBrains. Actually, it's on JetBrains. You can select the platform, and you do all the configuration on the branch website, and then you download the first code source. But I believe it's going to be much easier from this wizard. Just giving you another alternative. Then the KMP example, interface platform, platform iOS. So here we do have a platform. It is going to be in shared main, and there is also an iOS main that you can see the code that been shared on the shared main and the same classes to consume it. So KMP sharing, it's good stuff. What you can share logic as a percentage of the logic you can share. You can share 100% of your logic, and even you can share the logic and the UI using Jetpack Compose Multiplatform. Expect an actual implementation. This is one of the usage of Kotlin Multiplatform that you can make an expect on the main code, and then do the actual. So this is a common code. You can do expect platform, for example, and consume it from the Android or JVM using the actual. So there is going to be the actual implementation. So that might be an interface for your implementation, and here is going to be your own implementation, real implementation on both iOS and Android. The idea is that yes, you do have the business, but the business might need some information and some data from your local device, like for example GPS location, read an image, send a temperature to your application. So you might or you will require to use the sensors of your device and get this info from your device sensor and then your device native API. And then when you capture that with your native API, you can send it to your data layer using the actual and expect. So this is one of the examples that random UUID does behave. This does behave in a different way in iOS and Android. So you can't make only one class that can communicate with both of them. The most important thing when you think about the common code, that it needs to be platform independent. It doesn't need to understand exactly if you are working using iOS or working using Android or even working using web. It need to be independent. Just uh, good written OOP or even functional paradigm code. So it is going to be a very good code that can do the business. But the information that your business might require or the data your business might require, it can be passed from either of the platform. So, for example, here you can get random UID from the Android by writing this code, while in iOS you need to call a different method to get this random UUID. And for example, if you want to get the version of your device and the type of your device, so it is iOS version 14, for example, it is Android version 31. So actually, these are two different data that you are going to get from your device, and that's why and that's how we are going to use expect and actual. And here are some examples. I believe this slides can be shared with you after today meeting. So ecosystem is a very good question. If I'm going to use Kotlin Multiplatform and Compose Multiplatform, how am I going to be supported? And these are very good news to be shared. And I believe you can find more information on the session that I'm going to share. We are going to have two extra minutes in this session, so it is not going to have enough time to go all through this, but we can talk about Compose Multiplatform. Here in Compose Multiplatform, you can see that it is the same code written once, and the same UI can run on iOS and Android and on desktop. So actually, this is a desktop application, as you can see. So Compose Multiplatform, actually it is a Compose. So if you do know Android, you do know Compose. So Compose Multiplatform is going to be like a ride in the park. It's going to be very easy. About navigation, this might be the most problematic question about the Compose, that its native navigation is not very pure and very ready yet, but we do have Decompose, Voyager, and the Compose Navigator. These are a very three good solutions that you can select one of them, and they can work like charm your application and ease your navigation, and even can give you a very nice transition between your navigation. Actually, there is also an update in Google I/O that I'm also going to share, that there is also now navigation component is now part of the Jetpack Compose library. So you can now use the same safe arguments. About view models, the most important libraries that supported view model, data store, room, it is now in beta, but it is not supported, and lifecycle, which is very good news, and it's both all this information had been shared in Google I/O, and these are new information, by the way. About IDEs, there is Fleet, Android Studio, Xcode, and IntelliJ IDEA. And that was Abdul Basit. If you want to connect to him, he is a very smart guy. He did create a very nice example for Jetpack Compose with animation, Jetpack Compose Multiplatform with animation, and that's how he was selected to be a Google developer expert and be one of the experts that Google are proud of. I'm sorry for the internet connection of Abdul Basit, and that go to stop sharing. Okay, and please share Please share your ideas and your questions, and we are going to share with you. macOS is required for iOS building and running. Mac OS and iOS and iPhone application, actually they both require that you use Xcode, so it must be installed on your machine. Why KMP multi-platform and the ability and to inject parameters to Compose, we really need a view model API. Coin, because it is native Kotlin language, it have no dependency at all for the platform. So that was this question, and this is another question. I'm very sorry, we do have another meeting right now. Please join us on the next meeting, and I will be happy to get your questions on. You are most welcome, and I will be happy to get your questions on my session. Thank you and have a nice day. See you. Don't forget to subscribe and enter to our next meeting. So thank you. Have a nice day.